So I'm going to see if I could get through this video commentary without taking too many breaks. I think you could tell from the quality of my voice that everything is kind of off right now. Yeah, I'm still recovering from that bug, eh? How unfortunate is that? But today we're talking about the Montreal Canadiens once more because we have ourselves word as to the updates and what exactly went down with Justin Barron and Jacob Trouba. As we had been talking about throughout today's show, the Habs and the Rangers played off yesterday. It was a terrible defeat for Montreal at the hands of New York. The Rangers took it to the Canadiens, and one of the biggest, most intense moments of the game happened with about 13 minutes to go in the third period, whilst the Rangers had a 3-goal lead. I'll try to paint a picture here with the screenshots, but you had Justin Barron entering the offensive zone, and after he crossed the blue line, he was absolutely laid out by a vicious hit from Jacob Trouba. And if you look at the slow-mo video replay, the primary point of contact that actually goes down first is Trouba's shoulder area into the chin, it looked like, of Justin Barron. You can see that Barron's head fully snaps back, and he ends up falling to the ice in a very, very violent-looking way. He hits his head onto the ground first. It's very ugly-looking when you watch it in slow motion. And for Jacob Trouba, number 8 on the Rangers, there was an immediate fight that broke out between number 8 of the Canadiens in Mike Matheson. Justin Barron had to get helped off of the ice, and in the context of the game, with the lead that was in store as well as the time remaining on the clock, a lot of Canadiens fans, a lot of people around the NHL community felt that this hit was unnecessary, and it's Jacob Trouba, a guy with multiple warnings, and instances like this, going out there and doing it once more. So, is there going to be some discipline? Is there going to be a fine? Is there going to be something? What's going on here? Well, before we actually had ourselves that conclusion, we had another piece of news too. The Montreal Canadiens tweeted this out this morning, that Yoel Armia, Christian Dvorak, and Mike Matheson are on a therapy day, and Justin Barron has been evaluated with an upper body day-to-day injury. Hence, they're not participating in today's practice. So, day-to-day upper body, we could probably assume that has something to do with the head. It's very unfortunate for Justin Barron in particular, because this is a guy who, if you've been watching him the past few years, you would notice that sometimes he does enter situations like this with his head down. And that's actually the conclusion that I had while looking at the video footage initially, because when Justin Barron enters the zone, he's kind of like trying to make a move with the puck, and he kind of stops up too. He notices that Jacob Trouba is the guy checking him, and look, 9 times out of 10, it's Jacob Trouba. You know the guy's gonna come in for a hit. And while he's in the motion of doing that, Justin Barron kind of slows up and allows his center of gravity to get lower, also lowering the point of contact wherein the hit was going to touch him on the ice. Like, I'm not saying here that Justin Barron should be able to read the future, but come on, it's Jacob Trouba. This is a guy who's known for this, and for Barron to continuously go out there and put himself in vulnerable positions like this, it's very unfortunate. Obviously, like, Habs fans are going to defend their guy. They're going to talk about how Trouba should be getting suspended or whatever. Like, even Brendan Gallagher had some comments out there saying that our guy got hit in the head from a player that's had a whole bunch of warnings, so it's up to the league to decide whether or not they discipline people properly. I mean, if you look at the footage, Justin Barron is like fully upright as he enters the zone, but then a split second later, he's already kind of stopping, lowering his body in a really quick amount of time as Trouba was already coming in for the hit. So I do think that a lot of this was unavoidable from Trouba's perspective, considering he had already committed to the hit. And Justin Barron, you got to do a better job at keeping your head up. Stop lowering your head, especially when a guy's already coming at you and checking you. You can see that happening from a mile away. He has his head down. Anyways, that's the conclusion that I came up with, and it turns out the NHL have themselves this response that sort of aligns in the same way. Here's an article from Greg Wyszynski. Sources: the Rangers' Jacob Trouba will not be disciplined for the Justin Barron hit. Here it is. The article has the quotes. They had a clean hit on the ice. We have a hit to the head from a player that's had multiple warnings, Brendan Gallagher said, according to The Athletic. So whether the league decides to do the right thing, whether he gets another pass, that's up to them. Canadiens coach Martin St. Louis believed that the first point of contact was the head on Trouba's hit. Upon review by the NHL, it was determined that Jacob Trouba's hit was a fully legal body check with Barron's chest as the main point of contact. If there was contact with Barron's head, that contact was covered under Rule 48.1, which considers whether the player attempted to hit squarely through the opponent's body and the head was not picked as a result of poor timing, poor angle of approach, or unnecessary extension of the body upward or outward. Trouba, 30, is one of the NHL's most scrutinized physical players, though the majority of his injurious checks have been deemed legal by on-ice officials and the Department of Player Safety. Trouba has been suspended twice in his NHL career and fined 4 times, most recently in the 2024 Eastern Conference Finals for elbowing Florida Panthers forward Evan Rodriguez. So, I do think that a lot of the conclusions that they came to at the NHL were similar to the argument that Justin Barron needs to be a little bit more defensive when he's playing in these situations. He's a great offensive mind. He can shoot the puck. He can make some plays. That was always his bread and butter, being an offensively tuned player from the blue line, but maneuvering around the offensive zone, trying to lead rushes, it comes with a sense of responsibility for yourself and your own body. You can do your things in the offensive zone, but the second your head goes down, you're vulnerable. And for Trouba, he's a guy who always goes for these big hits. It's not surprising. The moment he started to approach Barron for the hit, you can notice that Barron's position was fully upright. But as Trouba was leading into it, Barron's body went down, which caused a lot of that momentum and the impact to get directed to a higher area on Barron's frame, thus the shoulder-to-head contact being the first point of contact. If Barron just stayed upright and didn't go down like that at the last second, it would have been a shoulder to maybe chest contact. And I think if that was the case, it would have been a lot easier for Barron to just take the hit, get back up. He doesn't have this concussion thing going on here. And look, I'm using the word concussion. It's just because his head hit the ice. We don't know if it's a concussion or anything, but he has had these moments throughout his career where he's been caught with his head down multiple times. So I do think that this should be one of the last learning experience that he's got. I mean, going over to the R Hockey subreddit, there are some replies that I wanted to talk about here. This example in particular is a weird one since Trouba has a reputation for doing hits like this and Barron has a reputation of receiving hits like this by not keeping his head up. This is probably his 4th concussion at this point. Okay, we don't know that for sure. Another reply goes out there and says, Barron got bodied. Barron is skating and he doesn't even look where he's going. Nope, it looks like he's at a Sunday skate. Like, dude, you have Jacob Trouba coming at you. Get ready. Yeah, this play is indefensible for Barron. Guys doing the zone entry move in my beer league. Head down, puck chasing with effing Jacob Trouba as the defenseman. Clean hit, situation made worse by Barron. Hope he's okay. How are there so many blind dolts here missing that Barron dropped his body to place his place perfectly into Trouba's shoulder right before the contact occurs? What, is Trouba supposed to read Barron's mind? GTFO, this was on Barron. Cleanest Trouba moment, that's on Barron. What do you want Trouba to do here? I know he has a history, but he's just playing the body on this play. Low shoulder, elbow tucked in, didn't target the head. Unfortunate result, but if you're Barron, just dump it in at that point or brace yourself for contact. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Jacob Trouba situation. There's no discipline on the hit. Justin Barron is day-to-day with an upper body injury. What are your thoughts on the overall situation? What are your thoughts on the hit? Is Jacob Trouba a dirty player? Sure, we can say that. We can say that he's had a history and he's been at the forefront of situations like this multiple times throughout his career. But was this particular hit clean? Well, the NHL seems to think so. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I gotta take some cough medicine or something. I don't know what's going on with my voice here, man. I took one nap and this is what it sounds like after a few hours. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.